Welcome back viewers. In today's video we are going to check out what is new in the Fedora 38 beta. So Fedora 38 is about to be released and we will check out what are the changes in the new release that is coming very soon. So this is the official Fedora project page where it is showing the change set or the changes that are going to happen to Fedora. So let us investigate all the changes in detail. So first change is Noto fonts for two languages. So there will be changes to the Noto font for the Khmer and Thai languages. Second is shorter shutdown timer. So the system will shut down very fast. So it will reduce the system D unit timeout from 2 minutes to 45 seconds. And the SIG ABRT to generate a core dump before the SIG kill. So this is the change. X server prohibits byte swap clients. So what exactly is going to happen is that the X server implementation, that is the XOR and the X VLAN, will by default no longer allow clients with different NDNS to connect. So for example, if your system is big endian and some other system is little endian, so those systems will not be able to connect with each other. Next is the GNU toolchain update. So the Fedora 38 GNU toolchain is now bumped to the GCC 13. GCC is the compiler, C compiler. So it has been bumped to version 13. Bin-utils is bumped to version 2.39 and the glibc is bumped to the version 2.37. Restore stricter SSH host key permissions. So we want to drop a downstream only patch to SSH permitting group readable SSH host keys dash drop a SSH keys group restore SUID bit instead of the SGID on the helper utility SSH key sign. So for us to know in short that the SSH hotkey permissions will be now much more stricter. So we will now go ahead. GNU Make version is now bumped to 4.4. So the earlier in Fedora 37 the version was 4.3. Now it is version 4.4. Golang package has been updated to version 1.20 in Fedora 38. LLVM is now bumped to the version 16. RPM auto spec by default. So there is some changes to the RPM auto spec, that is auto release and auto change log. So what happens is whenever you build the RPM packages, it will automatically generate the change log. So that has received an update. Auto release and auto change log has received an update. Packaging guidelines and other documentation are also adjusted to describe this approach first. So this is the default approach. So now henceforth, whenever you build RPM package, the auto release and auto change log will be done automatically. So user intervention has been reduced. So what happens is earlier the developer could do addition in the change log and the auto release logs, but now it will be done mostly it will be done automatically only. Reproducible builds. So in the latest Fedora 38 releases, more and more RPM packages will be reproducible. So that is good. That means the system is more secure. The system will be more stable. Now add 45 source is equal to 3 to the distribution build flag. So this is not directly related to the end user. It is more related to the developers. But it will ensure the security of the system because it will improve the mitigation of security issues arising from the buffer overflows in the packages in Fedora. So it is more related to the developers, but it will affect the end users also. Will ensure greater security for the end users. Ruby 3.2. So Ruby 3.2 is the latest stable version of Ruby in Fedora 38. So in Fedora 37, the Ruby version was 3.1. Now it is 3.2. RPM Secure. Change RPM to use Secure based OpenPGP parser instead of its own flawed and limited implementation. So the parser is now changed to OpenPGP. Earlier it was closed PGP. Now it is OpenPGP. Unified kernel support phase 1. So this is a big change in the kernel of Fedora. So now they are adding unified kernel support to Fedora. It is a phase 1 for the unified kernel support. What is the unified kernel support? That is another topic. It is a very good big topic. So we will definitely cover this in one of our subsequent videos. What is unified kernel, and maybe I will show you around one system with a unified kernel, how it works and what are the advantages, disadvantages of the unified kernels. PCRE deprecation. Upstream stop the support for the old PCRE package. It only supports the new PCRE 2 version. So Fedora should deprecate it, so it would be later retired and removed from the Fedora entirely. So the PCRE package will be deprecated and the PCRE 2 package will be added because there are some changes in the upstream. So those changes will have to be followed by the Fedora developers also. Z13 as the baseline for the IBM Z hardware. So move the minimal architecture level of IBM Z hardware, that is the S390X architecture, to Z13. So maybe it was earlier, it was Z13 or some other version. So now it will be bumped to the Z13 to benefit from the new features and better performance in the newer CPUs. Unfiltered FlatHub. In earlier versions of the Fedora, the FlatHub was limited, so some of the packages available in the FlatHub were not shown when you search for packages in the software store. But now totally it will be unfiltered. All the packages that are available in the FlatHub will be shown to the user when it does the search or when it tries to scroll through the different Flatpaks. So users can install any of the packages that are available in the FlatHub. So you can see it here. So the filter version of FlatHub was there since the Fedora 35, and it provided only access to a small number of FlatHub applications. But now it is changed. You can search, scroll through the all the FlatHub applications, and you can install them. And in the graphical software manager app, the FlatHub packages will be selected by default when no Fedora package is available. So the first preference during the software package search in the graphical software manager will be the Fedora package, and if the Fedora package is not available, the software store or software manager will offer you a Flatpak as an alternative. In the Perl language, the replace version module underscore compat requires by RPM dependency generator. So this runtime dependency will be removed from all the Perl spec files. So this module underscore compat, it is a runtime dependency, so it will be removed from all the Perl spec files, and the replacement will be generated by the dependency generator, which will be placed in the Perl generator. So the Perl generators which generate the dependency will now completely remove the module underscore compat runtime dependency. MAC address policy none. So the systemd udev package is installed. Users lib systemd network 99 dash default dot link, which sets the link MAC address policy is persistent for all the software NIC devices. This proposal is to add to the policy so that we use the link MAC address policy is none. So what happens is, earlier the MAC address used to get linked, and it used to be persistent. So once the MAC address is linked, it was remaining persistent, so you could not change the MAC address every time you start the device. But now what is going to happen is, the MAC address will not be persistent, so you can change the link MAC address every time or whenever you require So the it will be more flexible for the networking teams to manage the Fedora installations. So here it is shown link dot MAC address policy is null for the bond breach. Breach is the network breach and team devices. So whenever you have got a pool of devices with Fedora, you can be sure that the MAC address will not stick or will not be persistent, and you can change if you require. So you can change the MAC address of the device. So you can do the configuration changes for the different software NIC devices. So for example, if you are using some virtual servers or those kind of things, you can change the NIC, you can change the MAC address uh, to your liking or to your requirements. So it will not stick once the MAC address is linked. It will not change for the different software NIC devices. So this is more applicable for the virtual devices or software devices. So that is great flexibility has been introduced starting with the Fedora 38 for the software NIC devices. Add fno omit frame pointer and mno omit leaf frame pointer to default compilation flag. So this is regarding the compiler only. So it is not directly affecting the end users. RPM macros for build flags. Create extra flag macros to make it easier for packages to add to the default list of compiler flags. So this is also related to compilers, not related to end users. Build all JDKs in Fedora against int-tree libraries with static standard C++ libraries. So this is this change is related to the developers, not to the end users. Fedora Linux 38 accepted self-contained changes. So the Python packaging is updated to the version 22. Cups filter is now version 2b. IoT simplified installer. So Fedora IoT users will be offered a new method to create and deploy customized Fedora IoT disk images using a new installer called simplified installer. So the IoT images will have a new installer that is called a simplified installer. So this is for the these changes for the IoT users of Fedora 38. Text Live 2022. So update to the Text Live engines and components in Fedora to the 2022 version. So it will improve the text document processing, conversion and interrelation which is used by some Fedora packages. So this is related to the end users. IPP USB as a weak dependency for cups and Sane Air Scan. Add IPP USB as a weak dependency for packages which provide support for the driverless printing, driverless scanning, and the driverless fax for the USB services. So not services, USB devices capable of using driverless functionality. How to find out whether your USB device is driverless here. So such devices will work without a specific driver. IPP-USB design conflicts with the way how drivers work with the device, so user intervention is required after upgrade. So now the Linux systems are going towards a driverless USB working for the printers. So printers will now don't require drivers to work. So just it is plug and play. You insert the USB or any other working port of the printer with your device, and the printer can start working, and you can get on with your productivity using the printer. Noto CGK variable fonts. Now the Fedora system is going to switch to the default Noto CGK font for Chinese, Japanese and the Korean from the static to variable fonts. FPC packaging. So FPC is nothing but the free Pascal compiler. So that functionality of the Pascal compiler is now split into several sub packages built from the same spec file. Pyramid 2 package has been updated to the latest major version XFC 4.18. So the XFC desktop gets the latest 4.18 update. Image Magic is now updated to version 7. Fedora Budgie Spin. So now Fedora Budgie Spin is official Fedora spin. and it will be shipped to the users who are interested to install the Budgie desktop on your systems. Use ADM for the BIOS RAID support in Anaconda. So use of ADM instead of the DM RAID to support BIOS RAID, firmware RAID or the fake RAID during the Fedora installation process. Remove Guile support from GDB. So Guile extension language support from the GDB package is going to be removed in favor of widely tested and feature is Python support. Libpinion 2.8. So this is related to the Chinese, I think the Chinese language. So the Libpinion 2.8 will support phrase suggestion candidate and longer pinion candidate features. So it is not exactly directly related to the end users. Remove initial support from the KDE spin and Knoit. So initial setup is an application that can run during the first start of a newly installed computer and makes it possible to configure the computer according to needs of the user. We currently don't use most of the functionality of the initial setup in the main KDE spin and Knoit installation ISOs, as everything gets configured at the installation time via Anaconda. So we want to remove this package from the installation ISOs while keeping it where we currently need it. Pre-installed disk images extra. Note the initial setup app is still able to enable OEM style installations of the KDE spin Kenoit like Fedora Workstation and Silverblue. So we are planning to introduce some more KDE native application as replacement. So the initial setup application is going to get a KDE native application as a replacement once it is ready. So it is under development right now. Prevent from building RPM packages providing the Python 3 dist is equal to 0. So this is related to building packages from building RPM packages using the Python packages. So it is not directly related to the end user. LSQT image for the Arch64. So we will be able to generate the LSQT image, both ISO and disk image for the Arch64 architecture. So this is directly affecting the end user, and now users of Arch64 will be able to generate a LSQT image. Deprecate Python TOML. So Python TOML package will be deprecated in Fedora 38 because it is now unmaintained upstream. So Fedora will follow and it will remove this unmaintained package from the repos. Swig 4.1. Update the Swig in Fedora to the latest version 4.1. I don't know what this Swig is, but it's some package found in Fedora. PHP 8.2. So the PHP stack in Fedora is now bumped to the latest version 8.2.x. Post GRE SQL 15. So this version has been bumped from version 14 to version 15 in Fedora 38. Node.js repackaging. So the Node.js repackaging is going on, and we are working. We are reworking the Node.js packaging to make Node.js versions available as parallel installable packages. Fedora Sway spin. So official Fedora spin for the Sway window manager is now ready, and it will be shipped when the Fedora 38 will be released. So you can follow the footsteps of recently released i3 spin or recently shipped i3 spin. So in addition to the i3 spin that was recently shipped, now the Fedora Sway is also available as official Fedora spin. Mobility Posh image. So Posh is Wayland shell for mobility device on GNOME. So the mobility special interest group, that is the SIG, has packed up Posh and related packages into Posh desktop package group and would like to start making X64 and the Arch64 images for the mobile device. So now mobile device can install the Posh desktop, and the devs are working hard to release those images for the X64 and the Arch64, X86 64 and the Arch64 images. SPDX license space. So this is only for the developers, will not go in detail. Haskell GHC 9.2 and the Stackage LTS 20. So the GHC Haskell compiler will be updated from major version 8.10 to 9.2, and Haskell packages will be updated from the Stackage LTS 18 to the LTS 20 versions. Build Fedora IoT artifacts with OS build. So it will build the key Fedora IoT artifacts such as raw images and traditional Anaconda installer with OS build. Major upgrade to micro DNF. So major upgrade to the micro DNF is the first step in evolution of package management in Fedora. The new package manager provided by DNF 5 package has ambitions to provide all the major features of DNF without losing its minimal footprint. So the micro DNF is a smaller version of the DNF package manager, and now they are packing all the major features of DNF into the micro DNF without losing the minimal footprint of the micro DNF. Valent by default for SDDM. So the default display server mode for the SDDM to use a Valent based greeter rather than a X11 based greeter. So this change has been introduced, and with this all the changes of the Fedora 38 have been discussed in this video. I will stop the video here. In the next video we will check out the Fedora Workstation 38 beta. Bye bye.